Yes, good afternoon, folks. So, this one went viral on the Twitter with the title, "When your 106-year-old grandmother clowns you for being 38 and single, and so you have to clap back." That sentence alone speaks volumes about the granddaughter now, doesn't it? 106 years old. First off, round of applause for the grandmother, that's a ripe old age. Secondly, let's go over that. 106 years old, so she would have been born about 1917, end of the First World War, during the Woodrow Wilson administration, and be a baby when the Spanish flu hits. Her childhood years were the glorious days of America's roaring 20s, but the Great Depression hits when she becomes a teenager, and this would continue for many years, still under the incompetent dictatorship of FDR. So her best years as a woman would have been spent during this tumultuous period, and then hits the Second World War. Several years after that, you had the Korean War. Several years after that, you had the Vietnam War, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the assassination of JFK, the assassination of MLK, Civil Rights era, which I will not speak on because I have extremely based opinions on that. Being a South African, you can probably take a guess at some of them, but moving on. The resignation of Nixon, the stagflation of Carter, the rise of Reagan, the fall of the wall, and the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the busting of the dot-com bubble, 9/11, the Iraq War, Obama's unfortunate election, and the rise of Trump. 1917, born at the end of the first wave of feminism, she lived through all four waves of that stupidity. So this lady has lived through some of the worst periods of our history. And this is assuming she was born and raised in America, otherwise I'm talking out of my ass here. But anyway, let's see what she has to say.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Huh?
I'm 38.
I've never been married. Huh? Have you ever been married?
Really, Nana?
38 years old.
Really?
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 I've never been married. No children or nothing.
Now, you can say it's because she wants great-grandchildren, perhaps, but listen to what she says.
You sure missed a lot of life.
Damn, grandma hits blunt force trauma. 38 years old, never been married, no husband, no kids. That woman's golden years are behind her. No man worth his salt is gonna want to settle down with that. That is the harsh reality of life.
Damn. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she may be laughing now, but that's cope. And all of you watching this knows that. That is guaranteed to turn into depression tears in a few years' time when reality really hits hard. That is an inevitability. The reality of growing old and no one will care about you. Especially with this generation, they care about nothing and no one but themselves. And even then, they'd happily destroy themselves for a cheap thrill. Or a TikTok video.
Why do I have to get married and have kids to have a good life? Huh? Why do I have to get married and have kids just to have a good life?
For the reasons I just said, our generation is built purely on the soullessness of materialism and nothing else. The values of my generation can be summed up in under 10 words. Get stuff, fuck, get fucked up, and die. That's it. We have absolutely no values beyond just that.
You do have no good life.
I do.
You don't go nowhere.
I do. I just got back from a trip.
By yourself, no man. If you don't have a man, you ain't nothing.
Oh, can we hear that again, please?
If you don't have a man, you ain't nothing.
Without a man, you ain't nothing. 106-year-old black lady saying that. Can you imagine saying that to your average woman under the age of 50 nowadays? Tell them without a man they ain't nothing. Watch them turn into a human bullhorn at the speed that would break the sound barrier.
Really? I'm not nothing without a man? Huh?
You're not a lesbian, are you?
Are you?
No, I had a husband till he died. I had
Well,
a boyfriend all the time.
You was
Before I
having
got married.
you was having sex.
Huh?
You had sex after granddaddy died?
No, I didn't. But I
Uh-huh.
had boyfriend and husband till
Whatever.
he died.
I still have sex.
Huh?
I still have sex.
You what?
I still have sex.
Let's be honest here. That look right there, that is the face of age wisdom judging you. And that's the face of disappointment.
I know you do, but that's not right. That's dirty. sleeping around like a slut.
Ah! It's one person. One person.
Sleeping around like a slut.
Your mama.
I didn't do it. I had a husband.
Your mama did then.
I had a husband.
Well, your mama was a slut then.
Don't talk about the mother. She's dead.
Well, don't talk about me.
Now, I don't know about all of you, but I was raised on old school values. You sort of let them slide during your teenage years because you're rebellious and all of that. There's a certain amount of arrogance when you're rambunctious and you're feeling invincible. You have less responsibilities, but I would expect that to die off when you become an adult. I would expect that behavior when you're under 18, not when you're 38 years old, for heaven's sakes. That's just embarrassing. The difference in perspectives and morals is just jarring. You may as well be staring at two different species between these two. You can really see the difference when she asks of her grandmother, "Why do I need to get married and have kids to have a good life?" And the reply is, "You don't have a good life." And the daughter just says, "I just came back from a trip." That answer tells you everything you need to know about my generation. It is all about them. They live exclusively for themselves and no one else. For us, it's what you do. For the grandmother's generation, it is what you have. A chest full of experiences is nothing. It's hollow. You can't see it, you can't touch or taste it, and it dies with you. Never more than a memory, forgotten. Never mind live fast and die young, it's just live fast and die. You can really see it when she says, "Without a man, you ain't nothing." Because for their generation, this was built around the family. And the men are kind of necessary for that, for the creation and maintenance, by the way. To them, they had gender roles that served as a function for a higher purpose, the maintenance of civilization and its order. It's kind of odd they care more about the collective than our generation, who claims to want collectivism of some kind, but they want the state to do everything because they're too stupid and lazy to do anything, and they don't understand what the hell they're actually advocating for because they're too busy being hedonistic idiots. Our order has been ruined by feminism and the soul-destroying force of evil known as equality, indoctrinating the youth with this ridiculous notion of women are equal and they don't need men. I got news for you, if you believe this rubbish, you just hate humanity in general. It's why just saying that out loud sounds absurdly stupid, and anyone who knows women, when women are surrounded by other women, they turn into harpies who age each other like milk. Is it any wonder why tomboys are so liked by blokes? It's why many of the best women around do not like other women, which is fair enough. The person that knows the best and worst of any demographic are the people who belong to that demographic. You will notice this very blindingly obvious fact is completely dismissed in our world, which is frankly kind of baffling to me. The ending of this video is shocking to me, although not entirely considering my generation, but it would never occur to me to be that disrespectful to anyone of that age, let alone my own family. Like, they have zero respect for anything that came before them, including people and objects. It seems to me there's a rather large chunk of the millennials that never grew out of that teenage rebellion phase, and frankly, I don't exactly know why that is. Partly I think it's because the boomers were a terrible lot that gave birth to the generation of the 60s that spent much of their time in a sexual revolution and cults that would upend much of the religious backbone of society and ramp up the individualism into such a height of hedonism that might explain why much of our society even to this day is so selfish to the point of suicidal destruction, as it attempts to avoid or mask any and all of its problems in a haze of pills, booze, and sexual decadence. And failing that, try and grab onto a sense of meaning that results in appearing to care about fixing everything else around them, because fixing themselves is a pain that would ultimately result in reaching for the substances rather than the empty pit that is their own souls. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.